Hi, this is Ed. I'm making this video because I wanted to show you the advanced search features possible and provided on my website. I'm sure you've all been to many of the more popular, well-known websites, but not only are their search features usually lacking, but their data sources are often outdated or inaccurate. I don't know where they get them, but the data source on my website is the multi-list. So the properties that you see here is exactly the same information that local realtors would have access to. I've heard people talk about some other websites where they find a house and they call a realtor and it turns out the house was sold 30 days ago or delisted or whatever, and that's kind of a waste of time if you're looking at a database that's not accurate. Also, this database gives you all the normal functionality of searching that you see with the more popular websites, but it also gives you a lot of features that are not available on any other websites, at least not to my knowledge. In fact, I get emails almost every day from a very well-known website that says 20 properties meet your requirements. Well, out of the 20, usually at most one meets my requirements, because for those particular searches, my requirements are at least 20 acres. And most of the properties they send me have anywhere from a half acre to a tenth of an acre. So not exactly a good search engine. So anyway, I want to show you how to use this. And there's a simple way and there's an advanced way. So we'll start first with the simple way. So we just go and click on search by map. And the way this works is you get a Google map, and the search area is whatever's in this map. So this whole search area is what we're dealing with. And you can see it comes up with more than 250 properties, and that's because we didn't make any search criterion. So basically it's just going to show every single house in this area. Now we can zoom in, and we're still going to have a lot of properties because we're not restricting anything. We can zoom in a little more, and now you can see all the properties that are for sale, all those little circles. We can zoom in again, and we still have a huge number of property, more than 250 properties. We can zoom in again, and now we're down to 137 properties, but for most people that's going to be too many properties to look at. So let's zoom back out again, and we'll zoom back out again. And let's say that this is in general the area that you want to move to, this whole area here. If you want to restrict it, you can also do a selection tool and draw an area, and that'll show the houses just in that area that meet your requirements. Now, what we normally have to do is start restricting this. So let's say you want 4 bedrooms and you want at least 2 bathrooms, and let's say you want a maximum price of $450,000. So now you want houses that are for sale, not pending. So now we have 68 properties. So that's getting more or less reasonable. But there are probably lots of these properties that don't really meet your requirement, because let's say you want at least a 2,000 square foot house or a 4,000 square foot house. Some of these properties are probably not going to meet that requirement. Or let's say you want a property with at least 2 acres minimum, or let's say you want 2 acres minimum and at least a 2-car garage. So let's go screen it down a little bit further. So we go into more options, and now you want to click on property type. Unless you're looking for a condo or a multifamily, vacant, commercial, or rental, you want to have this on single family, and that will, right there, that'll restrict a lot of these things. So now let's say we want to go to house size, and we have 500, 1,000, 2,000, all the way up to 20,000 square feet. Let's say more than 2,000 square feet. And let's say we want a lot size of more than 2 acres. And here we can go up to more than 20 acres, but 2 acres is fine for now. And let's say, okay, we don't want to use this functionality here, this year built min and max. You want to leave that at the defaults. There's some sort of a glitch between the multi-listing service and the software. So if you put anything in these 2 search terms, you'll basically get 0, or you won't get accurate results. So in this search, don't use the year built function. Um, so now we got this restricted, and let's go and do a search. And we had 68 properties, and when the search is done, we'll show, oh, okay, we got 0 listings, so we restricted things too much. So let's go back to the more options, and let's say more than 1 acre instead of 2 acres, and we'll do a search. Okay, now we have 9 properties, and now you see these 9 properties, and you can go down here on any of these properties, and you can click on the information for the property. For example, here, view details, and it'll show up and show you all the details. Or you can also save that property to your account. You can print them out. But let's go back, and let's say that you're interested in more detail in your houses. Also, by the way, instead of drawing this block like this, you can go up here and enter zip codes or cities that you want to live in, or whatever, and just put a bunch of them in there. That's a better way to restrict things, and it works much better in the advanced search, which we're going to go to now. So let's go back to the more options, and let's say that we want a little bit more detail on this, and let's say that we want a house that's at least 50 years old, for example. Most places don't let you search on that, but let's go into the advanced search. And that comes up. Now that comes up with a much bigger area, and I'm going to zoom it in a little bit, but it's not going to zoom in, or at least the database is not going to be updated to quite that size. It's actually going to end up being a little bit bigger probably. So again, if you want to really restrict this properly, you're better off putting in either all the cities that you want to live in or the zip codes, and just put a bunch of them in there. But for now, this area here in this map has 3 multi-listing services that have information in them, and most of them are in Trend. So we're going to go into Trend. Trend has 5,001 homes or properties listed. So we go into this, and we come up now with this search, advanced search engine. So we have to go back up here and put in bedrooms. So we'll put in 4+ bedrooms like we did before. We'll put in 2 baths like we did before. We'll put in the maximum price of $450. Okay, and anytime, by the way, you can save these searches. Now, the search on the previous page, you can always save that search, and what will happen is anytime there's a new listing that comes up that meets the criteria of your search, you'll get an email, and you can have that email set to be automatically sent to you every day or 3 times a week, or they have several different choices as to how frequently you want to be updated. Also, you'll get an update anytime there's a significant change on any of the properties that you've searched on before. So for example, if there's a price change or new photos or anything like that, you'll get an email alerting you to that. But so let's go back here, and now we said before 1 acre minimum, but let's go back to the acreage, and here we have minimum and maximum, but we'll go to minimum, and here you have much finer detail as how big your property wants to be. And also, instead of 20 acres, you can specify 50 acres or more. So it gives you a lot more flexibility here. But let's go back, and let's go to one acre. And let's say you want a house that is, let's say you want a fireplace. That's a lot of things. I know I wouldn't want a house without a fireplace, especially after some of the storms we've had. Let's go back and say fireplace count. So we'll click on that. And you have a choice, no fireplace, 1, 2, or 3 or more fireplaces. Now, probably not going to find too many houses around here with 3 or more fireplaces, especially not in the 450,000 range. But let's say you want 1 fireplace. Okay, and let's look at something else. What else might we want? You can, all sorts of things here you can pick. Do you want sewer or septic? Let's go to total square feet minimum. And before we said 2,000 or more, but here you have, again, a whole lot more resolution. So let's say 2,250, let's say 2,500 square feet or more. And to make sure we're not getting too restricted, because before we had quite a few properties, let's click on property count. And okay, we got 90 houses, so we haven't restricted ourselves too much. Now let's say we want a house that's at least 50 years old, because a lot of people like older houses. So let's go on property age minimum, and we'll go on down here to 50. So now we got all these other criterion, but only houses more than 50 years old. And if you really like old houses, you can click 100. But here's a list of the criterion. And again, you can save this search, but at some point when it gets too complex, you're going to get an error 404. You're not going to be able to save it. So just sort of take out some of these things until you don't get the 404 message, and then save that search, and then just remember what your other ones were, so that when you come back, it'll immediately allow you can just go in real quickly and click on the other couple of things that you wanted. But so we got this. Let's click on the property count now, because we probably lost a lot of houses when we said over 50 years old. Okay, we got 34 houses still, so we're still in pretty good shape. Let's go and say, let's see what else. Let's say we want a house with at least a 2-car garage, so we can click on garage, and let's say 2. Let's go back and update, see if we've still got some houses left. We got 14 houses left. Okay, so now we're getting down to a more reasonable number to start working with, and we've restricted a lot of things, and these are a lot of things that are important to people. And also, you can select things like a pool or a porch, a deck. You can select houses that are handicap accessible. All these kinds of things you can search for, which with most search engines you can't search for them. You just have to go and get all the listings, 60 or 80 or 100, and then pour through them in detail in the fine print and see if they have these features that you want. But so we narrowed it down to 14 houses. So let's say update to search, and it comes up with a listing of the houses now, 14 properties. So now we're down to a manageable list of properties. So here's a house right here in Souderton, so we can click on view the details, and it comes up with basically a sheet on the house that gives you, the full description, all the information on the house, the size of the house, all that sort of thing, demographics for the area, population, all those things you might be interested in. Building features, tells you, self-cleaning oven, dishwasher, wood flooring, it's a stone foundation, all this sort of thing. And you can go up and you got all the pictures, so you can view all the different pictures of the house. And you can also go and mark this as a favorite of yours. You can go and print out the information on the house if you want. You can email the information on the property to somebody else. It also has a virtual tour.
If you're looking for an absolutely gorgeous home and a pristine property, just a stroll from the town, yet with a country feel, then this property is for you.
We'll stop that, go back to here. And so this gives you a really good idea of the search functionality on this. And like I say, I don't know of any other website that gives you this sort of information, and it's all free to you. And if you sign up with a save your search, like I said, every day or every week or whatever, you choose how automatic or how often you get your updates, and you get your updates automatically. And like I say, the information is tied directly into the multi-list, so it's going to be accurate information. You're not wasting your time looking at houses or properties that have been sold a month ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever, and you don't have to pour through tons and tons of emails that give you houses that don't really meet your specific requirements, because everybody usually has more requirements than just the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms and the price. That's usually, people want a lot of other features. So I hope you like it. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or send me an email, ed@edtroy.com. Thank you very much.